Hey there, my name's Taylor, and this is a recap of the Turbo Velo Tuesday Night Crit from June 4th, 2024. This is the C race, which is Cat 4-5, and we're getting started here. You can see in the top left that it's very warm, 97 degrees according to my Garmin's thermometer, and it had been raining a ton both prior to and after this race, so it was very humid, and there's some water across the track here, as you can see, but for the most part it didn't really affect the race. Most of those little divots in the track aren't on corners, so you just kind of charge through it and get splashed with a little bit of water, no big deal. I am continuing my plan of trying to pretend like I'm the worst rider, the weakest rider in the race, and what strategy can I take to get me the best position given that constraint. I'm not sure if I'm actually the weakest rider in the race, but there's a very good chance that I am. So my strategy is to play it safe, try not to be in front whenever possible, and just try to hang with the pack. So right there you can see the guy in the gray kit, 2 riders up right now, took a little bit of a squirrely line through the water. That's really the only danger that happened. That kind of maneuvering was a little unpredictable, and he's not the only rider that did that. Just lots of people trying to pick the best line through the water ended up making things a little dicey for other riders. So that's why I'm kind of hanging back maybe a bike length from the rider in front of me, not just now but throughout this race, is that I wanted to leave plenty of room for shenanigans like that without causing a wreck or picking a squirrely line myself. Coming into the last corner on the first lap here, looking ahead, you can see that it's already pretty strung out. There's not a big group of riders all together, 3 or 4 riders wide like it has been in some previous weeks. Instead, it's 1, maybe 2 riders across all the way up. And if you look in the rear view, there's not many people, if anybody, behind me. So, it's strung out for the entire race. And this is only the first lap. So not a great start for me. I'm not a fan of races like this because I'm not strong enough to hang with the pack if they're just motoring the whole time. But fortunately for me, other people aren't strong enough for that either. So eventually it's going to clump up. I hope. That's what I'm hoping at this point in the race. And actually, you can see my brother go past me there. He's the rider just in front of me now. And his strategy is typically to tail gun. And so he correctly identified me as being a straggler and just went past me, which is the right move for him. But as you can see, now the pack groups up again. So I have an opportunity to latch back on, even though just a quarter lap ago, everyone was single file all strung out. So very weird race dynamics there. I feel like often what happens to me at this point in the course is exactly what's happening here, where I stop pedaling, I'm at 0 watts, and I'm just moving up 3, 4, 5 wheels there. And I actually slow down because I don't want to cut off this guy on the Bianchi to make his turn dicey. And so I slow down, I grab brakes right there, and but still, I'm several bikes up from where I was at the beginning of that little stretch, and I'm not spending a huge amount of effort during that part or before that part. I'm not just coasting after doing a sprint or something like that. So I don't really get why that happens over and over again for me. It's confusing. I know it doesn't look like much, but I'm basically redlining here. 177 BPM, my max heart rate is around 180, and I am struggling to hang with the pack here. And fortunately, there's this guy who went around my left side, and I was able to get behind him for a little bit to draft, and then the group slows up a little bit coming into this corner. So ultimately, I'm able to stay with the group, but they were definitely losing me there for a minute. Here we are coming into that part of the lap again, but this time I actually moved backwards. Kudos to this guy on the Argon bike right there who squeezed me out gracefully and just got that spot up there, and so I grabbed his wheel and no harm, no foul, but good play. I haven't talked about the wind yet. You can see that little windsock off to the right. I think there's one on the left near the start finish too, but it's going from left to right across the screen right now, so from the south. And it was pretty strong wind, maybe 10 to 20 mile an hour. So I was trying to position myself in the right spot. So here I'm trying to be sheltered from the wind that's coming from the left. And this sometimes worked out for me, sometimes not. I feel like it's not crazy beneficial in this case, but once we round this corner, it's super important to be in somebody's draft so you're not just eating all that wind. And in spite of what I just said, I'm sheltered here, I'm doing 400 to 500 watts, and the group is riding away from me. Like, this is a really fast ride, this is against the wind. I should be able to keep up because I'm sheltered, but no, it's just losing wheels left and right. So actually, classic, catch back up with the group because they slow down, but you can see that off the front there's 3 riders doing a little breakaway, so perhaps the group was going fast because that breakaway started, or they're trying to chase them down like they are here. And at this point I realize, again, I'm not the strongest rider in the group, I'm the weakest rider in the group, so I'm not going to go chasing after that breakaway because I know I don't have a chance to catch it. Instead, I'm going to latch on to the wheel of the person in front of me and follow them. If they choose to go after the breakaway, then maybe I'll chase, but probably not. And you can see it's kind of closing up anyway, so breakaway didn't last very long, thankfully. Good news for me, really. I'm getting so burned out in this race on this like elastic accordion back and forth where the group surges up and I have to do 400 or 500 watts just to hang with them, and then they slow down and I'm doing 0 watts passing people. And it's like my heart rate spikes up and then takes a little bit too long to come back down, so I am not able to recover effectively during those periods of low exertion, but I don't really know how to train that, so I guess coming out here to do these crits is probably the best way to train that. This next section is a little bit long, but I'm going to play it in full because we can see everybody that goes around me. So there's one, and this whole time I'm going to be doing like 200 to 300 watts and right near the upper end of my heart rate range. So like I just can't go any harder. There's number 2, went past me. But I'm just losing wheels, fall into the back of the pack, 3 past me. And I'm trying so hard to hang on, but it's just not working. Like, this is what I'm talking about being the weakest rider out here. There's number 4 going around me on the right now. And, I felt like I was in good position coming into this part. I was up toward the front of the pack. I was on somebody's wheel. There's number 5 passing me, but it just wasn't enough. Number 6, I don't have the motor to go around these people, or to go with these people even. There's number 7. And, yeah, number 8, you can see it's getting slim pickings behind me. Number 9. Number 10, that's my brother going by me. And yeah, like I'm at the top of my heart rate range. 11 and 12 and then 13, and there's nobody else. So now I'm at the back of the pack. I'm dropped off the back of the pack, going at like my absolute limit. Could not even hang with the pack, and in fact lose 13 wheels and then fall off the back. So at this point, the race is looking pretty grim for me. I'm assuming now that it's like, well, I'm going to be solo time trialing the rest of this unless I manage to catch the back of this group as they turn into the wind and hopefully slow down a little bit. I'm not sure if you can hear me breathing, but I am chugging at this point, and you can see me passing somebody on the right there, and there's another guy just up ahead. And I feel like what happened with that guy that I just passed was like he probably tried super hard to hang on, got burnt out, and couldn't hack it anymore, and then just like stopped pedaling. And I feel like that happens with a lot of the people in these races. Like I place normally about halfway through the group, and often the people behind me just like stop early in the race. So for me, that's hard to wrap my head around because like I'm out here just to have fun and exercise basically. So I'm gonna ride the whole race as long as the officials don't pull me off. Because while it's not necessarily fun to come out here and do a time trial, it's still like a good workout, and that's one of the reasons I'm here. Anyway, behavior from the other riders that I see all the time that I don't really understand because of that is that they'll go super hard for like 3 or 4 laps and then just drop out entirely, and it's a 10-lap race. So maybe they're like trying to hang with the pack for as long as they can, and then the race is over for them, so they give up. But for me, I'm going to try to hang in and try to catch any other dropped riders and see if we can make like a little group, trade some poles, make it easier for both of us, or just, enjoy being out here and riding my bike. So I managed to catch up to this other rider that fell off the back of the pack, and I decide to take a bit of a breather and sit in their draft for a while. I think until we get through the upwind section, but just try to recuperate a little bit from the effort of trying to stay with the pack last lap and then soloing for a little bit after that. So take it easy here, drink some water, breathe, get the heart rate down, and then try to have another go at it. Here we are at the end of the upwind section, and I decide to pull, I guess, kind of a scummy move and go around this guy after he did a great pull for me. But he grabs onto my wheel, so we end up taking turns after this. But, felt good to calm down a little bit and regain a little bit of endurance, a little bit of strength, and have another go at it. So if you look at the lap times on the left, you can see that with the pack, it was around 2:30 per lap. 2:28 was the best. And then solo or with this guy, it was around 3 minutes. So that's how much time I'm losing by not being with the pack. 30 seconds a lap. And doing about the same effort in terms of watts, just like that's how much I lose from not being able to draft behind somebody, or, maybe a little bit of getting motivated by having everybody around me.
So hot. Yeah, it is. Jesus. I can barely hang on to your wheel.
So I don't know if you could hear that, but that's the guy behind me saying that he could barely hang on to my wheel, which is a great confidence boost to hear when you're just feeling terrible chugging along through one of these races. But I had been pulling for the whole lap, and then he comes around and takes a pull here. So kudos to this guy for hanging on. We're coming into the finish now, and we knew that the lead riders were right behind us, and there they go. You can see they're just flying past us. We're not standing still exactly, but we're only doing 22. Yeah. And this is me putting down as much power as I can to the end of this race, because I know that, this is the end of it for us, and it's not that much power, only around 300 watts. So that was it for today. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you out there next time.